Hey, welcome to Route 66 again. We're traveling right through. We'll finish with the Gospel of Mark today, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, Mark chapter 15 and 16. And so let's get right into it and see what it says. Mark chapter 15 deals a little bit at the beginning with Jesus's trial. He's falsely accused, he's mocked, he's beaten, and finally he's nailed to the cross. The crowd chooses a thief, a murderer, Barabbas. Soldiers ridicule Jesus and make fun of him. And then as he is dying, as he is getting ready to die, darkness covers the land, and Jesus cries, my God, why have you forsaken me? And the answer to that is, why did God forsake him? Because he took on sin and the punishment of sin. And he did all this for you and me. And then Jesus died. The temple veil was torn in the middle so that people could actually see and have access to the inner workings of the temple. The centurion proclaimed, truly this was the Son of God. It's a magnificent chapter. And in chapter 16, at dawn, the women find the tomb empty. They hear the angel announce, he is risen. And then Jesus appears to Mary Magdalene, and then 2 other disciples, and then to the 11 apostles. And finally, he commissions them to go into all the world and preach the gospel. He took his message to just a few, and he wanted his disciples to take it to the entire world. And that began in Galilee, and now it goes all around the world. And so some lessons from this final one. The cross. So many lessons from the cross. The cross of Jesus reveals the depths of sin and the heights of God's love. It is the worst and best day. How bad is sin? God would allow his son to die for it. How much does God love you? Enough to send his son to die for you. That's what the cross represents, and it reveals it. The torn veil, another lesson. That torn veil, what does that mean? Well, it means that we now have access to God. We can come boldly to God. It's kind of like the door shut and locked, and then all of a sudden somebody breaks the door, pulls it off its hinges, and now you have access. You and I can talk directly to God because of Jesus, and that's a good lesson. Spend time with him. In Mark 16, the resurrection, there's so many lessons. But one of the lessons is the resurrection of Jesus will turn our fear into faith. These disciples were afraid. I guess they thought they were coming after them as well. But once they knew Jesus was alive, nothing. They weren't afraid of anything. And when you know that Jesus conquered death and sin, and he rose again, and he gives eternal life, you don't need to fear anything, because God will get you through it. And another lesson, God uses ordinary people to share an extraordinary message. These disciples, I don't want to, but they weren't extraordinary people. They were fishermen. They were common people. And God used them to change the world. And God can use us, because it's not the people, it's the message. So take that message and tell everybody. As Jesus told those early disciples, that's what we need to do. Go to all the world and preach the gospel. Tell people about Jesus. Enjoy finishing up the Gospel of Mark today.